Today we have with us Ron Upshaw. Ron is a longtime Seattle radio personality and broker at Windermere Real Estate. Hello, Ron. Thanks for coming on with us today. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. So help us understand your background and how you connected to Seattle.
Hello, everybody. I wish this class was happening in person. I think that's always a lot more vibrant, but thanks for having me on. My name is Ron Upshaw. I guess the 30-second version is, for the past probably 20 plus years, I was in radio with my friend Don. We had the Ron and Don show. Most recently, we were on Afternoon Drive on Cairo 97.3. That's the Seahawks station. And our group had the Mariners as well. That ended a couple of years ago on the terrestrial tower. So now we do our show online at ronanddonradio.com. on iTunes and whatnot. We're at a million downloads on that. So that seems to be doing okay. And we also now work for Windermere Real Estate. We've been involved in real estate for many, many years and took a lot of our radio money and put it into real estate. And so now we're doing it in addition to the radio stuff.
Great. Well, I have more questions for you on real estate, but first, you probably lived in a number of cities being in radio. Why Seattle? What made Seattle special to stay here?
I mean, I think it's a world-class city unless you're driving by a homeless encampment under a bridge and then you're like, that's not great. But not to delve into politics because this is a real estate class. I love Seattle. It feels like home. I think the collection of neighborhoods and the soul that it has and the vibe is great. It's a vibrant community with the food and the architecture and the diversity. It's a great city. Every time I travel abroad and see that skyline when I fly back in, it's like, yeah, this is a great city.
All right, makes sense. I've been a lifelong resident and traveled other places, but love it too. So, okay, you're in radio. You're the #1 drive time show. I listened to your guys' show for years. You pivoted to real estate. Why real estate?
I think in our market, it's just a great sector to be in. You know, the velocity of these neighborhoods and the fact that we're home to so many Fortune 10 companies, like forget about Fortune 500. You know, we've got Amazon, Microsoft, Boeing, Starbucks, Costco, all of these places, F5, Expedia, like we could go on and on, Adobe, off the top of my head, there's just an opportunity to do really well in real estate here. And so for me and for Don, we're trying to be private investors to build our own portfolios and then also help people navigate this market. It's crazy right now. We just put in a deal yesterday, an offer on a house in Magnolia for someone that's a pretty heavy hitter in the commercial real estate world. The house was listed at 1.53 million. We put in an all cash offer that escalated to 1.85 million and did not get the house. So it was over $300,000 over. It's just a crazy market. So if you like to negotiate, you like to be in where the action is, this is where the action is.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you mentioned, challenges. So what are some of, besides just having a hard time finding a deal or a property for your clients, what are other challenges you've experienced coming into the real estate market?
I think the biggest thing, if I was, talking to people that are studying this academically, which is a great thing to do, and I wish I had done more of that, is really the biggest challenge is having the mindset of saying, it doesn't matter what you know if you don't have clients. And so I always like to use the example of McDonald's. McDonald's is not in the hamburger business. They are in the real estate business, and they use hamburgers to pay for their real estate empire. So if you look at their balance sheet, what they really are is a gigantic landholding company that happens to sell hamburgers. And that's why they're so valuable. Real estate, whether it's commercial or residential, or even development in the Pacific Northwest, is the client acquisition business that happens to deal with real estate. And so I think the biggest thing that we spend the most time thinking about is, how do we attract clients? How do we maintain clients? How do we get referrals from clients? It's a given that you have to be good at the nuts and bolts of the job. Like, that's just standard issue. So yes, you need to know how to do all that, but really you'd be surprised at how many big agents or how many competent people are sitting around right now with no business because they don't have a system dialed in to acquire customers.
Yeah, I can imagine. And so you had, as I heard, the Ron and Don Nation many a time. So kind of expand on that. Are those people coming to you, or how are people finding you? Obviously, you have that big following in radio.
Yeah, I mean, that is how people are finding us, and it's, we can delve into it, but it's a unique case just because we have 20 years of a story behind us to jump into that. So I guess the thing that I would say to apply to people in an academic setting is to really think about how you are going to differentiate yourself. And so whatever flavor of real estate you're going to do, what is it about you that differentiates you from the field? And the thing that I always bring up, let me grab it real quick, is how many of us do you have an iPhone?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, what about your laptop? Is it a Macintosh?
It is.
Okay, so how many people in the class right now are using this? You could stand by 1 second. I just have this phone right here, which is not an Apple phone, that does almost everything that this phone can do, right? This phone's got a camera, I can text, I can do phone calls, I can surf the web, I can do messaging on this phone, which costs under $100. This phone, which is an iPhone, and it's an 8, forgive me, I want to upgrade it, costs 7, 8, 9, 10 times what this phone costs. And I gladly pay for this. My laptop that we're streaming this on right now costs 6 times what my brother paid for a laptop with virtually the same specs, same processor speed, same hard drive. He's got a bigger screen. His keyboard is backlit, like it's a gamer laptop. This laptop is 4 or 5 times. Why do I pay that? So before I answer, I will ask you, why do you pay that amount for your phone, Jeff?
Well, some people pay just because they want the name brand. Other people are I like the quality, the consistency. It works very seamlessly with my other devices. So
do you think it works more seamlessly than the Samsung?
Oh, I have not used a Samsung, so I don't know. But when using other devices before and then switching over, it's worked well for me. And so I haven't switched, or I haven't tried other things, but for me, they've worked fine.
Okay, so for hopefully more than fine, because we're both paying a premium for these products. So my point being, there's a lot of choices in electronics. Why do both of us enthusiastically choose to pay more? We're going to walk across the street from an electronics store to go to the Apple store and voluntarily pay a multiple more than we need to get a device that makes phone calls and texts. Why are we doing that? Well, part of it is what you said, that it works. Part of it is that Apple has built an experience and a brand that has meaning. When you think of Apple and you think of the way that their product, hold on 1 sec, because I have another thing over here. I just had got this. Where is it? Oh no. I had just ordered an Apple credit card. And so here it is. This is the packaging it comes in. It was overnighted to me. And so when you get this, and I'm talking about customer experience here, when I get this and it's overnighted in a FedEx package, every other credit card I've ever gotten in my entire life, they just send it to me in a regular piece of mail. I open it up, you sign the back, you call the number, you got a credit card. This one, it's overnighted to me. So I get this FedEx experience, like, wow, this is important. I got an overnight document. I open this up and you pull the tab off and then you get this little thing. So I pull that out and then it has the Apple logo, if you can see that.
Yep.
Then I open it up and here's my card. That's a metal card. It's not plastic, it's aluminum. There's no number on it anywhere. There's not a number on the back. I don't know what the number of the card is. Do I care? There's no place to sign it. You don't sign this card. The card has no number. It just has an apple on the front and a chip in my name. But it's exactly the same as any other credit card, except that it's heavier. And when I used this the other night to have sushi, the waitress was like, the server was like, oh my God, it's the first card, the Apple card I've seen. Let me hold it. Let me feel it. Let me touch it. That's amazing. It does exactly the same thing. Well, why do they elicit that reaction? They paid attention to the experience of the user. And so how does this apply to real estate? Real estate is an experience business. And so I now this is my number one card now. When I activated this card, I didn't go call a number. I opened up my iPhone that I paid too much for, went to the wallet, hit one button, and my card was activated. Apple has paid attention to the user experience, and you get delighted. I'm delighted. They made me feel important. They made me feel like I just got something that's significant, and this packaging costs more than my MasterCard on another company or my BECU card. It costs more, but I'm now using their card instead of the BECU card. And so they've differentiated themselves and they're best in class where they can pay attention to details. And so as a realtor or as a commercial real estate broker or anything that you're doing in this class, everything's the same. The commission rate is the same. Don and I are in the number one office of any brand in all of Seattle. It's Windermere Lakeview. They did over $1 billion of real estate out of that one office last year with under 100 agents. So they're rock stars there. There are agents in that building that should make 10% of the deal. They're amazing. They're incredible, but it's capped at 3. There's people that are brand new in the industry that also get 3. How's that fair? If it's your first deal, you get 3%. And if you have 30 years experience and you're in the top 0.5% of all agents in the Pacific Northwest, you also get 3? How does that make any sense at all? That's the business. So how do you differentiate yourself? How do you create a user experience where people voluntarily pick you out and say, I'm going to pay you more because I could go to Redfin and pay them 1%. I'm going to voluntarily pay you more because you're the Apple of real estate in my life. So that's what we think about all the time. How do I give the user experience something to where they would tell their friend, holy cow, you got to see this phone. Look at this credit card. There's no number on it. How do they know what the number is? I want people to go, man, we picked Ron and Don. We just have a listing that came on today. These folks got transferred to Texas last week. We brought that house on in 5 days. Photography, drone footage, video, marketing, inspection, sewer report, all our credentials and supplements are loaded on this thing. It looks amazing. We did it in 5 days. Do you think there's a chance that those folks, when we close this deal, will go, dude, these guys crushed it. They got us on the market in 5 days and the phone was ringing off the hook. That's about user experience.
Sure, good, good. So, I mean, it obviously is in those touch points with people and making that difference in their lives. So, you got a great deal. You got to put together really quick. What are some other things that you do that are customer experience for that Ron and Don do with your customers that separates you from the other thousands of agents in the area?
Well, I mean, again, for us, it's a little different. We still do our show 3 times a week where we connect with people and we give them value. We add value to their life by, that esoteric thing of like, what's your favorite show that you watch or listen to?
Well, besides your podcast, yeah. No, I probably watch things on YouTube and, I had no TV for 6 years, so I'm way behind on shows, but.
Why do you watch your favorite YouTube channel? What do you get out of it?
I'm learning things that some are for entertainment, but also it's just to learn things about real estate or people or finance. So entertainment and education for me.
So when you find someone that you really connect with, will you go back and watch all their stuff?
Absolutely.
Right. So that person added value to your life. And most of the time they're not asking for something in return directly from you. And so that's probably the biggest thing that we do is really pay attention. It's sacrosanct to us that we're going to do the show 3 times a week. It's unduplicated content. You're going to get our real opinions about things, real information on hopefully that'll connect with your life. And we don't use the canned stuff. There's all kinds of services that will write your blog for you or give you a canned little video, or like I just saw a thing today on Instagram. It's like, hey, we have 79 templates, order from us and it'll crush. It's like, dude, we create the content. Like, how is someone going to create better content than me? And so when I give that content away and build that relationship, we get people that say, hey, like yourself, hey, I listened to you guys for 15 years. I trust you. I know you're going to be honest with me. And in an industry where you're right above used car salesmen on the trust factor, that's huge. And you'd be surprised at how many times Don and I, because we have that trust, we go on the one interview or the one Zoom call and people say, you're hired. I don't want to interview anybody else. I know you guys, I trust you guys. You're exactly what I expected from listening to you before. Or they'll say, hey, that thing that you guys did where you raised money for OSO during the landslide, or when you guys helped that disabled child get a dog, a service dog, whatever, fill in the blank of the $12 million we've raised for the community. They go, you're my guys. And so it's really playing the long game. People can sense desperation a mile away if you just are closing for the business. Having said that, there are some people that are just mercenary that way. And it's like, dude, I'm a hired agent. I'm a gunslinger. I'm going to be mercenary. You pay me, and then we're not going to be friends after. There are people that's what resonate with them, and that's just not our lane.
Yeah, and through the radio, I saw you call to action when something came up with OSO or different activities. I mean, I remember the STP bike ride that.
Yep.
Yeah, I know they were trying to get you to do it. I think that.
I did not ride. Don did it in a day. I didn't ride.
Yes, I know.
But that STP bike ride was to help an agency that provides bicycles for Black and brown kids that don't have access to bicycles. So you got them good bicycles, good training, good helmets, good instruction. And at the end of that journey, they rode the STP. That's an organization we can get behind and help out and lend our platform to.
Yes, and that's what you did with Major there and with the other groups. And you called action between your community, the Ron and Don Nation. You would call them to action. And I can just remember the phones would light up, whatever, and you could raise money. So what I can see is you really made meaning in a lot of other people's lives that you may not have ever have met. And in real estate, I can see you making meaning, you guys, with your action. What else? Give me one other thing you're passionate about.
I think the important thing on that regard is we don't do those things to get real estate clients. We do those things because we believe they're the right thing to do. And so if you are not someone that is geared that way, then don't do it because you think you're going to get clients out of it. Pick the thing that is genuine to you and do that thing. We have an office mate that's an ex snowboard guy, and he picks things around outdoors, snowboarding, like he's super cool, super laid back. And so his presentation to the world is way different than ours. I really enjoy him, and the people that are attracted to his business are like him. They want to go snowboarding and they want a cabin up in the woods, and they want, so like he's putting an energy and an authentic vibe into the world. It's very different than ours. And like when he does something for like a charitable deal, he did Outdoors for All, which is a charity that helps people that are maybe homebound or have some sort of disability to experience the outdoors. So you saw that and you're like, oh my God, that's so in line with who he is as a person. But like, of course I want to be a part of that and participate. And so I think to wrap that up is, again, this all goes back to how am I being Apple in people's lives? And so it could be not everybody has a big podcast or, a giant social media following, but you have something, you have some sort of community. And I would say if you're getting into real estate, if you do not enjoy people and being plugged in some way, then you probably should rethink this. If people bother you, and when you get a phone call or a text at 8 o'clock at night and you're like probably not the right business. And if you don't like solving problems, like 60% of your time is finding clients and the rest of it's solving problems. So you just got to jump in there and solve all the problems. So I don't know if that's helping at all, but I see a lot of people that have the technical skills. They know what to do, or they think they know what to do, and they don't have anybody that's connected with them. And yet they'll spend 2 days picking out a font for their website. It's like, dude, that's a great font. Nobody's looking at your website.
Yeah.
Go out and meet somebody. Connect with another human being and solve their problem for them.
Good. I love it. I love it. So final question for you. So if people want to connect with you and Ron and Don Nation on real estate, what's the best way for them to do so?
I mean, I would probably start by just listening to our podcast, Ron and Don Radio, on any podcast player. And if you like what you hear, like that's the easiest thing to do. We put out a newsletter once a week, ronandonsitdown.com. You can sign up there. Just search Ron and Don Show and there's a zillion pages online, or, you can read all about everything. But yeah, the podcast would probably be the easiest place to start. It's great that you're in school. That's awesome. This is the thing that's going to be a great career path if you're willing to be a stone cold hustler. And the thing that I've found, and I really love the millennial generation. I totally do. And I'm older than that, but we have a lot of those folks in our office. And the thing that is great is that you really have a point of view. You really care about things. You're not afraid to stand up and say, this is what I believe in. All of that is important. And the thing that I would just say though is you just got to build it one brick at a time. Like nobody hands you a trophy. Nobody necessarily gives you a pat on the back. Nobody's going to acknowledge you or put your name on the marquee in real estate. You get paid when you do the deal. Like that's the reward. And so if you're geared in a way where you need that external affirmation or guidance, This is a tough career because you got to get up every day and figure out what you're going to do. And so for some people, that's hard because they need someone else to generate their list for them every day and to go, oh my God, you did a great job. And wow, let me give you some accolades and a way to go. That's not this business. It's just not. And so if you're not able to derive satisfaction out of your own process, then you're going to be disillusioned quickly.
Got it.
It sucks when 3 months go by and you don't get a paycheck and you're working 80 hours a week. That sucks. You know, it sucks to write that offer that I did this week and show all those houses and meet them there and do that offer 6 different times and I probably spent 25, 30 hours on that and you get $0. So that's the job.
Yep. Well, very good. Thank you so much for taking the time to come on today and share a little bit about your background and your experience in real estate. Thank you.
You bet.